nursing home care. It helps, again, as we talked about before, quality of care, dignity, independence, and it helps the family caregivers as well. Because given the atmosphere and the structure of these new models of care, it's much more caregiver friendly and they feel more involved as well. So
I've got to believe that the residents, in learning about this and these changes that'll be taking place, have to be thrilled.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one outcome they found from the homes that are out there already. There's about 100 in existence throughout the United States and in about a dozen states, and more coming online every day. And yeah, there's data that they have less depression, they're more active, more social, and there's this whole intergenerational aspect where the elders and the nurses' aides that work with them share information. They share cooking tips because it's a communal type of setting, so they'll teach each other how to cook different dishes, and it creates a whole new way of life for people in nursing homes.
How did you get into this line of work?
Well, it's almost been 30 years now. I can't believe it. And originally I was a history major in college, my undergrad degree, and I was doing a project on survivors of the Holocaust. And I interviewed some who were living in a nursing home. And that was the first time I had really been in a nursing home, and I sort of fell in love with being there. So that changed my career path and ended up where I am now.
This facility that we're in today, Elmhurst, is a pretty good sized facility. A lot of responsibility here. But the thinking, the culture of nursing homes is changing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Elmhurst Extended Care is a community of 194 elders and about 250 staff members. And our philosophy here, we follow the Eden Alternative, which is a philosophy of culture change, a philosophy of elder care that recognizes that the pain that people feel when they live in a nursing home is often caused by the loneliness that they feel, the helplessness and boredom of living every day in an institutional setting. So our philosophy then is to create person-centered care and build the care routines around the elder's routine. The elder is in charge, and for us to recognize that the best thing we can do is really provide companionship, which alleviates that pain of loneliness, and to engage them in meaningful activity so that they have a life worth living, a reason to get out of bed in the morning and something they can contribute back. And also variety and spontaneity, the antidote to boredom, that things just happen like they do in everyone's life. But in an institution, it tends to be that people are woken up at the same time in the morning, served breakfast at the same time in the morning, all stuck in a day room with a television on all day long, or lined up in front of the nurse's station. That is loneliness, helplessness, and boredom in action. And for us, that's not acceptable. That's pain in an elder's life. And nursing homes, historically have looked at that and said, how can we help this person? Is there a medication we can give to them to alleviate that pain? And there really isn't. That's a pain of the human spirit. Feeling lonely is not something that a pill can cure. It's something that companionship can cure. So for us, our philosophy and the way we teach staff from the day they're hired is that the most important thing they can provide is companionship, whether it's human companionship from caregivers, care partners, or animal companionship. We have dogs, cats, birds that live here along with the elder, and animal companionship is so essential to making us human beings.
And the General Assembly, the House and Senate, with new legislation, they too have obviously gotten behind this concept. Mm-hmm. Why is this new legislation in Rhode Island good for Rhode Island?
Well, I'm so glad that the legislature is behind this. I think that all consumers should be behind culture change. I think all providers should be promoting and nurturing culture change. It's really what's best for elders. Elders are not really truly valued in our society. And in nursing homes, we try to reverse that and make the elder the center of everything that we do. And culture change is really at the heart of that. It's not a management fad that's going to go away or anything like that. It's something that all nursing homes and other healthcare institutions are going to have to embrace. Culture change changes the organization from one that's top-down hierarchical, where the elders just do what they're told, to one that the elders really are in control and make the decisions. They decide when they're going to wake up, when they're going to eat, what they're going to eat, where, all of those things that you and I get to decide every day. But once you move into a nursing home, sometimes a lot of those freedoms are taken away, just because of the layout of the building and the long halls and the need to be efficient because you have very few staff members to care for the needs of everyone. So culture change, turns that whole thing around and says the elder gets to decide. It's all about the elder's routine and not the routine of the organization. So that's culture change.
You mentioned your building and your facility. To accommodate this new concept and this culture change that you've so eloquently spoken about, will it require a lot of changes in the physical plant here? Will it require structural changes? Do you envision changing the look of your facility internally to accommodate this new Eden concept?
Well, culture change really happens on 3 levels. One is the physical plant transformation. And people a lot of times look at that and say, if we build a new, knock down the nurse's station and build a new dining room, we're doing culture change. That really isn't it. More important than that is the organizational change, where you say change to have the same caregivers care for the same elder every day, so that they know that elder, the relationship that they have, they can customize their care because they know that particular elder likes to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, likes to have breakfast in bed with the window open, watching a certain channel on the television. When you know an elder that well, you can customize their care. So the organizational change promotes that. But what we talk about in the Eden alternative is that the most important change, more important than anything you can do to the physical plant or the organization, is the personal transformation that you go through. When the light bulb goes off over your head and you say, I get it. I understand why this change is so essential. That the way it's set up now, elders don't have the ability to make those decisions, and it's a very institutional setting. And what we're doing is saying, the elder, it's their life. They get to make all the decisions. We build our routines around them. We change our organization and our physical plant to accommodate them. But the most essential change is what happens in here to each person. Every nursing home that exists now is going to go through some level of culture change, whether they realize it or not, in order to stay in business. Consumers are demanding it. The legislature is backing it up. Regulatory agencies, advocacy agencies are all backing this up. It's so essential and so important.
Tell me about this organization, Rhode Island Generations.
Sure.
What role, if any, are they playing in all of this, and what is their vested interest?
Rhode Island Generations is a partnership of stakeholders in long-term care who have come together from the provider side, from the regulatory side, from the payer side, all meeting around the same table to say, how can we promote culture change in settings where it's needed? Mainly in nursing homes, but in other settings as well. And this group has been meeting for probably 4 years. We put on educational symposiums to spread the word about culture change. We can go out and speak to groups about culture change. And it's really been spearheading the movement across the state.
I can't imagine anyone not liking this concept. Certainly the information that we have is that residents are certainly embracing it and are thrilled with it. Families must